everybody, my name's Link, here to talk about both new and old anime you might not have heard of. Like everyone else, I grew up watching Cardcaptor Sakura and Sailor Moon as a kid. But I did have an old anime that was near and dear to my heart, but apparently not a lot of people knew about. Niche anime chaser since I was a wee child, as you can see. That show was Get Backers, a show about a duo with supernatural powers doing odd jobs that the police or normal people won't usually do. Barely making a cent despite most jobs having larger-than-life dangers they go the extra mile to face, usually due to their bleeding hearts or just pure bad luck. Granted, it fits every description for this video series, but I try to stay away from older anime as they tend to have a shamelessly large amount of episodes and, just like you, I don't really have the time to sit for 50 episodes of fillers the early 2000s animes were notorious for, and it's rare for them to pass through the test of time with its art style. Though, if anyone is interested in a video of Get Backers, then let me know in a comment. So imagine my excitement when I found a series that seems to have about the same premise, but with a more updated style and setting. Hamatora, not the hamster. Actually, it means Yokohama Tora boat shooters, with a heavy emphasis on the katakana. But the Tora kinda stuck, as in the animal tiger, as you can see with the random tiger mascots around. Set in a world where there are these mysterious phenomenons called minimums that appear in a select few of humans, granting them various unexplained powers that can vary from useless to broken, and thus these individuals have been called minimum holders. The series focuses on a select few of minimum holders. One such is Nice, half of our titular Hamatora, which, by the way, is a private detective agency. He is the holder of the sonic minimum that allows him to travel through sound created by the snap of his fingers. Despite his name, he's actually not that nice, and dare I say even a bit of an asshole. His partner is Murasaki, holder of the gravity minimum, which can basically make him insanely strong. But also, the reason I noticed that this anime, or the first season at least, was made by the same studio that did It Invaded, because he kinda looks like Sakaido. He's truthfully my favorite character of the series because hunks with glasses are hot, and Wataru Hatana's voice crooning into my ears was a big bonus.
教えてくれるかな
Along with the main private investigator duo, we also have another pair that's in the same business as them, often also teaming up together when need be. Ratio, with his X-ray minimum, allows him to peer into the person's body to see their weaknesses. And I think he's the only one that also has another job, being a doctor for the elderly and less fortunate. Aw, doesn't that just make your heart melt? And his partner? Birthday. Probably because he won't have many birthdays left with how much he pisses everyone off. The electric shock minimum holder, which basically means he was the original Kaminari. Not gonna lie, they're probably related too, since he took a leaf out of his book. And even more to them are the bodyguard duo that came a little later. Honey, using her analysis minimum, created the mighty script. What it does is it processes a large amount of environmental data to deduce what will happen next, and basically seeing 10 minutes into the future. I'm not exactly a programmer, so I don't even have the foggiest if that's possible or not. And then her partner 3. His minimum is the beast minimum, and basically gives him the strengths and abilities of a beast. He's the classic, looks scary, but is actually a soft teddy bear kind of character. Some honorable mentions are Art, because he's a real piece of one. The close friend that works in the police department, occasionally giving the Hamatora boys works and tips. And Hajime, the girl that basically uses up all of the Hamatora boys' money. As you might have saw, they all have these little tricks or triggers they do to activate their powers, as well as the fact that usually their minimums needing a certain amount of conditions or limitations to work. I'm honestly such a fan of gimmicky setups like these. It shows that despite the addition of supernatural powers into the mix to make things more flashy and exciting, they still have their own hard set of rules that they have to follow. And even them, with the power to crush anything in their grasp, had to be creative and work around their limitations to achieve their goals. I'm also really fond of the star structure of Mission of the Week style shows that have an overarching narrative happening, despite the vastly different jobs that they take on. It lends itself to explore the world and how it operates, on top of each mission letting us know more about the large cast, either letting us see how their minds work when faced with a particularly hard foe, or the mission can be a set piece for us to explore their backstories to add more depth to their characters, as well as having enough of its 24-minute runtime to quickly break off and show us the aforementioned overarching narrative to help the series tie itself together in one big cohesive plot. Though, that can also serve as a double-edged sword. The series sometimes seems lost in its own pace, The weakest point of the story is being the middle parts as it doesn't really know what to add to it, but put it there anyway as they need to further their bigger plot. And at times, the pacing can be jarring, as they have tendencies to do comedy skits right after or even in between their serious moments, and it ends up both making the comedy distracting rather than funny, and the serious moments losing their gravity. I don't know if this worked for when it was showing weekly and it kept people coming back for more, but it was terrible for the binging experience. And by result, their gauging for their climax ended up a little skewed. The most glaring offender was the build-up to season 1's climax, going from 0 to 11 in a span of an episode when the unrest they were asking for needed a good few more steps to reach the destruction it wanted. And in the process of missing the set steps, they end up seeming nonsensical, brute forcing the conflict they needed to happen, when it could have easily been fixed by showing them the gradual escalation of the violence. And one more thing, the series has some of the most questionable art direction I've ever seen. From the nauseating rainbow plasma effect whenever they use their minimums, to the most god-awful textures I've ever seen in Season 1, which, as I mentioned before, was made by Studio Naz, whose other works are It Invaded and the Dramatical Murder series. We don't talk about them though. The second season was made by Studio Lurchi, also known for making Toilet Bound Hanaka-kun, Assassination Classroom, and Given, just to name a few of my favorites. They ditched the trippy rainbow effects for more passable textures and effects, but they still made some pretty questionable decisions. So, should you watch Hamatora? I'll be rating the show's cover here with these stars. 1 star is, I suffer for this anime so you don't have to. Something else is worth your time. 3 stars is, definitely give it a go. It was an enjoyable ride despite its flaws, and or it could be covering certain niches you could be interested in. While 5 is just, add it to your anime bible, a show any fan should definitely be watching. Despite the middle points being the lowest I've ever felt in an anime, struggling to fill the void to get to its honestly enjoyable climaxes, which, if we're being honest, tends to break the world's own rules, and the premise of the chaos collapsing under itself if you think too hard about it, was still the highlight of the show and had me thoroughly engaged. And even with my complaints with the sometimes displaced comedy skits they have, some of them were genuinely funny and had me on a full-on belly laugh at times. So I give Hamatora a solid 3.5 stars. The art and the lapses of judgment for some factors in the storytelling department holding it back from a 4. Which is a bit sad, because it does have a truly interesting premise and themes that they wanted to explore, though the quality fluctuates often. I wouldn't suggest binging all 2 seasons of this though, as I personally tried to finish all 24 episodes in one sitting on 2 different occasions, but the aforementioned low middle points were just asking me to be distracted with my phone. It took me losing internet for more than 5 days to finally sit my butt down and finish it, and I'm glad that I did! The payoff for the crawl of the middle section was satisfying enough, and proving that some of the low points were worth it for the build-up. And that's a wrap on this one, everybody! For this week's question, if you were given a superpower, what would it be? For me, I'm always torn between wanting electrical powers or being able to fly, since our place is notorious for just random blackouts happening, and flying saves years off my life from the commute. You can follow me on Twitter where I post fan art and talk to me about whatever. And as always, drop a thumbs up if you liked the video, and please consider subscribing for more niche anime recommendations you might not have heard of. Bye bye!